I couldn't take the drugs that were going to allow me to continue to go to those places. I just couldn't, because my genetics had a limit. And that limit was about mid 400 squat, mid 200 bench, and 500 deadlifts. If I wanted to go further, I could have.
What's a big difference for you between powerlifting, bodybuilding? I know in powerlifting, some people, and even through CrossFit, some women have found that it was empowering, where they didn't have to concentrate so much on like being skinny or being thin, and they can kind of let loose and go after performance more. And then we saw the same thing with a lot of women in powerlifting. And then you said like Instagram became popular. I think people were more into like a different kind of look, and people were more into the girls being a little thicker and things like that. And so
substantial.
Thank God.
Being substantial. What has that kind of done for you, and how has that maybe, plagued you at times and maybe benefited you at times?
I think mostly benefit. I think it's enhanced my life in a way that I'm super grateful for. CrossFit can get a little toxic because the element of always being your shirt off, and the girls do have like really nice abs and things like that. It's a different level of aesthetics, but there is aesthetics involved, right? Powerlifting really saved my mental health, to be honest, for a while until it didn't. But in the beginning, being fixated on my performance and my strength and my abilities rather than what I looked like was huge for me. And I found this niche in the community that wanted to see me succeed and wanted me to come as I was. And it also started to be glorified of my body type, like being really thick in the thighs. And obviously I'm a lot, not as thick as I was back then, but I looked bottom heavy. And then as I progressed in powerlifting, I got, now I should say I was never really heavy into PEDs. So I wasn't the kind like that we've seen in the Instagram world now, we're talking about where women are getting lean, almost like bodybuilders.
Right.
I was thick. I had lots of muscle, but lots of body fat on top. And I think if I wasn't doing powerlifting, I probably would have felt some type of way about that body aesthetic. But it seemed like it was being heavily rewarded on the internet and in life. I felt like everywhere I went, I would go to the Arnold, where I used to feel like, because I worked in sports nutrition and supplements, and I had been a sales manager where I traveled to those places, and I always felt really insecure about my body type because it was mostly bodybuilding.
Right.
But when powerlifting became in our heyday, the 2000 teens, let's say, when it became so popular, I would go to the Arnold and people would line up for me without abs. Because they wanted to have my bench or my deadlift. They
or your legs.
Right. Yeah. They thought that what I did in the gym was so cool that they wanted to take a picture with me or buy you know what I mean?
And I think they dug the aesthetics that were the result of the lifts that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that it gave me this freedom a lot of people ask me about how did I become a pro bodybuilder so fast? Well, I never cut weight except for water cuts to compete. I never did a fat loss phase.
Whoa. Back off. You never did a fat loss phase for your prep?
Before bodybuilding.
Okay.
Powerlifting, I never focused on being lean, which means I was always in a surplus and building. I was constantly lifting to build. So even though I wasn't directly bodybuilding, I was building my body more than a bodybuilder in season, because they have to go through a down period where they're prepping. I was all go all the time. Feed me more. Let's get strong. Let's lift heavy.
Power Project family, how's it going? So no matter what diet you're on or no matter what supplements you take, it's necessary as you get older to know what's going on under the hood. That's why I've partnered with Merrick Health. They're the premium telehealth clinic owned by Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And we have a panel that will allow you to get all of your labs done and checked in a super easy fashion. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yeah, you guys got to head over to merrickhealth.com/powerproject. That's MAREK health.com/powerproject. And at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject to save $101 off of this comprehensive panel. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
I mean, my periodization was just volume with
food.
and volume and food, and then low volume and food. You know what I mean? It was peaking for powerlifting meets. It's just heavier lifts. And then when you're not around a meet time, you're doing more volume of the same type of lifts. And it developed this thickness and density to my muscle that when I leaned out for bodybuilding, it was like, whoa, it was different. You could see it on stage. I looked, matured compared to everyone, because I had just been lifting without even no cutting, nothing, you know?
What do you mean though, when you were talking about powerlifting helped you until it didn't? So what do you mean when you said that?
Well, I think with any niche in the fitness community, it can get bad after a while, especially after it gets popular. Anytime anything gets popular, it starts to get watered down. It starts to get sort of like a, you
start lifting for other people and other things, and you're no longer lifting for yourself, and you're not as
100%.
pumped about, doing 405 for a set of 5 because somebody posted that they did 455 for a set of 5.
Yeah, you're chasing this like sort of white rabbit, you're literally chasing these unrealistic goals. And the other part that gets rough is when you get injured and people just kind of stop caring. Because people want to see this all the time.
Oh,
they want to see the
absolutely.
big lifts.
Yeah.
They want to see the heavy squats. They want to see me pee after I deadlift. Like, they do. They want to see the gnarly stuff because they want inspo porn. And I can't be that at 36. I can't be inspo porn every day in the gym. I was going to break myself. And let's just be honest, like we always are here, right? I couldn't take the drugs that were going to allow me to continue to go to those places. I just couldn't, because my genetics had a limit. And that limit was about mid 400 squat, mid 200 bench, and 500 deadlift. If I wanted to go further, I could have. But let's be honest, I would have to really play a different game, you know? And I didn't know if I was ready to take on those challenges and consequences.
It can take a lot of drugs, and those drugs can have some temporary changes, which you're like, my voice changed a little bit. Maybe you get some facial hair or something, and you can probably deal with some of that. But once it starts to become like, maybe some of the shit might be permanent. Right. It's like, I'm not going there.
And with the risk of injury on top of the virilization, as you were mentioning, I was like, this is a gamble. Because you may get that virilization that'll never go away. And you may break yourself trying to get to that world record or that next thing.
Might be possible you can never have kids or something like that.
That's a universal problem. Bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever.
Yeah.
That's just something you have to sign up for. Whenever you touch the dark side.
Just rolling the dice.
You're rolling the dice, right?
No one knows.
But for me, I was like, okay, either way, I'm going to be rolling this same set of dice. But I don't think I'm going to injure myself the way powerlifting can probably injure me. I'd already had a tear in my knee, two herniated discs in my low back. So you're looking
How did those happen, by the way? Do you remember what caused them? Or
that was even before powerlifting.
That was before powerlifting. Okay.
I was lifting heavy before powerlifting. In fact, my deadlifts just increased after I got a back injury. I had to rehab for a year, but after that, I learned how to move efficiently, and I'm like a hinge god now. Like I'm really good at hinging. That's one of my training partners, Justin. Shout out to Justin.
Hey, how's it? Sorry. I'm not going to whisper. I know you guys are enjoying this content, and we love talking to all these people and bringing you guys great information. So if you could help us out by hitting the like button, because that helps the algorithm, subscribe and hit the notification bell, we're going to continue reaching more people, and we're going to continue helping more people. Talk to y'all later.